This is a podcast about both having autism and living with someone who has autism. My mom is Sonya, and I'm Josh, and this is Josh Has Autism.
Hey everybody, welcome to Josh Has Autism.
Hello.
So happy you're with us again.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You look very handsome today.
I do?
Yeah, you look handsome all the time, but...
I think I'm looking pretty scruffy looking.
Yeah, well, the beard and everything, but your eyes are just beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah. Of course, I think you're extremely handsome anyway, but... Yeah, especially today.
Yeah, I must get my good looks from somebody.
From somebody. Hey! You know what I'll talk to you about today, Josh, is that kind of the things that have happened since we moved up here, but something that I'm very excited about is the Autism Specialist. Yeah. So, Autism Specialists, they really help kids a lot. They do ABA therapies. It's a very positive and helpful support.
It's something that I actually have not had yet.
You have never had that.
Yeah.
And I think it's because when you were diagnosed, when you were a kid, those things weren't as available. It wasn't known. A lot of things weren't known.
Right.
So a lot of things we didn't know about it.
Yeah,
so
there were no autism specialists because nobody really specialized in it.
Yeah, it just kind of came, fine. It's kind of got in at the beginning of things being kind of diagnosed on more and more. You were like at the age where you were kind of back before it was a common...
I was in before it was in.
Yeah, you were in before it was in. And before it was like commonplace. I mean, most people now know what autism is. Yeah. And when you were diagnosed, that wasn't the case.
Right.
Yeah. So I was thankful for the diagnosis because up until then, teachers were just not very nice.
Yeah.
And it's not that changed them then, that they were nice
right.
all of a sudden, because, you're kind of difficult in the classroom. So
sometimes.
Yeah. But,
especially when I was younger.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there was just, it's because of things that we didn't understand at the time.
Right.
It's that sensory overload. It's, if things are too loud, if things, all at once, when you were in the mainstream classroom.
Yeah.
And, I remember when you were in kindergarten, the teacher called me because you would not get off the swing. No matter what, no matter who talked to you, no matter what, you would not get off the swing.
Oh.
Looking back now, it's like, as a parent then, your dad, your dad was, because he was in the Navy, so he was on a cruise, so he was gone for 6 months. And you had started kindergarten. And this one day you wouldn't get off the swing. You had everybody in fits because you wouldn't get off the swing. And of course, like being a mom, my husband's gone, got 2 kids, so, I'm young. I put up with an awful lot of things being said to me because I didn't know better. Like, I wouldn't tolerate it now.
Right.
I'm very...
You don't take no crap from no one.
I don't. I don't. And I didn't then either, but I also, there were things that I didn't know. Right. Like, why wouldn't you get off the swing when other kids would get off the swing?
Right.
And I don't know. Anyway, we're kind of going off on a tangent there. But what's happened since we've moved up to Virginia are some pretty exciting things for you.
Yeah, I actually got on a swing this year.
You got on a swing where?
Right here at
the playground?
Yeah.
Was it fun?
Uh-huh.
Not so much? So you don't know what the draw was when you were in kindergarten?
The same thing I loved back then is the thing I hate now.
That motion?
The centrifugal force against me, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Because I can't breathe with it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's weird, but...
Yeah. I don't know. I still don't know. I never understood why you wouldn't get off the swing.
And whenever I was little, I would jump off the swing at the...
I know.
At the top of the swing.
I know. I know. So since we've been up here, there's been some things that have been pretty cool. One of them, of course, the things that we've talked about before, is that it's the transcranial magnetic stimulation treatment that you're getting right now. And we're going to do a whole podcast on that, so I don't want to talk too much about it because you're not finished yet.
Right.
I want to wait till you're done with that, and then we can talk about it.
Okay.
But that's for depression, and that has helped.
Yeah.
So that's been a positive thing. Of course, the Social Security issue, that's ongoing, but we're still dealing with that. So that's not a positive thing, but we're getting through it.
Yeah.
But Voc Rehab, it's called different things in different states, but here, the Voc Rehab has, it looks like it's in the beginning phases of the process, but it looks like they are willing to send you to college for library science.
Awesome.
Yeah. we still have some more, information to provide and work to do, but that's a very positive thing.
Oh yeah.
Does that make a difference for you, like that knowledge, or not so much?
Which knowledge?
That you could go to school for library science, because I know school has been something that's concerned you before.
Yeah. I've tried college several times now.
Mm-hmm.
And I've learned a lot because of it. Not just the school side of it, but also the personal side of it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And while I do hope that I can do it again, and I'm excited for that, there's always that niggling worry
Sure.
that I'm not going to be able to finish it, that I'm not going to be able to handle it.
Right. I think the things that are in the works now are a big deal. They can be a game changer for you, potentially.
Yeah.
And that is the thing that we're about to talk about with the Autism Specialist that you saw yesterday. But also, Voc Rehab have already talked to us about some technical supports that they can provide you this time that you've never had before. So one of the things that you have a hard time with is if you're in a classroom. Okay, that statement right there is stressful anyway, right? We could just stop because that's stressful,
right?
And all that comes with it, the bright lights, somebody talking, for longer than a few minutes, for all the different people around, which means all the different clicking and tapping and breathing and the different smells with people, cologne or
just not washing.
lack of deodorant, right? There's all kinds of. So that in of itself can be stressful. But for you, what you recently described to the person at Voc Rehab is that you have a hard time paying attention and taking notes. You cannot do both, you said.
And let me explain that a little bit, because just from saying that, it sounds a little bit different than what it is.
Okay.
What the taking notes, I can take notes just fine. Like, I can copy notes and everything like that just fine. But trying to do that and listen to a lecture at the same time is something that I cannot do. I can do one or the other at a time.
Right. How is it different than what I said? I don't understand.
You said taking notes and what was it?
Listening.
And listening?
Yeah, to the teacher when you're being the instructions or I don't know.
I think
now
it
that I ask you what I said, I don't know what I said. I don't know. I don't listen to me. So I don't know. I just thought that it sounded like the same thing. Essentially,
it's similar, but there was enough of a difference for me to want to clarify that.
Okay.
Because I don't remember what you said exactly either.
Me either. So, yes, that's the problem. It's difficult for you, right? If you're listening to somebody and trying to retain the information that you're given,
let alone the interaction between the students and the professor.
So you mean if the professor asked a question,
yeah,
and somebody gives an answer,
yeah,
what is that?
If a student asks a question, and it has relevance to what's being taught, and all that stuff, I can focus on that just fine. But trying to do that and write out notes at the same time, I can't do it. Especially if they're on different things being said.
Right. Another thing that you have a hard time with that you've said is that if you're in the classroom and the professor's talking and tells you that the assignment's on the board, for you to write down the assignment you're going to miss what they're talking about. Same thing, it's just that rather than taking like dictation from somebody speaking to you, same thing, you can't copy something down that's on a board while you're supposed to be also listening.
Yeah.
It's
especially difficult whenever they have notes written on like a chalkboard or whiteboard that aren't complete yet, and then they erase what's written up there to write more notes.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's awful.
The first time that happened was in high school. And that was when I realized I'm not going to be able to keep up with this.
Right.
Because that was in biology. And I ended up not taking biology because of that.
Right. And you could do very well in a biology class if it wasn't. I mean, you can do certain things you wouldn't do, but the paper work side of it, the
knowledge side.
The knowledge side of it, thank you. The knowledge side of it you can do. The other stuff, you're not going to do that.
Yeah.
So anyway, this Voc Rehab person, Mr. Ken, said that they have a thing now that's similar to talk to text that they could provide to you to take into the classroom, and everything that's said could be written down.
In electronic format?
Yes. So you wouldn't have to take notes.
Okay.
You could have that with you and just pay attention to what's being said, and you don't have to worry about writing stuff down. It's all going to be recorded for you.
Okay.
The other thing I was thinking about what's written on the board, there's got to be, how we've done before is to let professors know certain things. If something's written on the board, you could maybe take a picture of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be helpful.
Doesn't work if, like you said, half of it's there, then it's gone.
Right.
But if they know that you need to take a picture, they can.
Yeah.
You can run up to the front, snap your picture.
Yeah. Or, one thing that professors have done for me in the past. Let's say it's a slideshow. They just print out copies of what is on the slideshow.
Right. Yeah. That's really cool. But the thing that I was wondering about is that with those safety nets there for you, does that help you to feel more comfortable?
A bit.
Okay.
A bit. It's still a worry, though.
Right. I understand that. And we've talked before that, and you have said you didn't want to go to school. Does going to school for the thing that you want to do make a difference?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, very much so.
Okay.
It gives a motivation that isn't there otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And just for anybody that doesn't know this, when we lived in Pensacola, Josh tried to go to college. Did go to college since he tried. You did.
Mm-hmm.
In Pensacola, there was not enough libraries to support getting a degree in library science because there were no jobs to be had. Anybody that works with Voc Rehab,
there has to be a need for...
Yes, and they will tell you that they are in the business of getting you to work.
Yes.
So it's not about... They will educate you if it meets the criteria.
Right.
So in other words, they give you testing, and then then they match it to what you want to do. Well, I said that wrong. They give you testing in a bunch of different areas, so then they can look and see where you would be best
suited,
most suited and compatible.
Mm.
And then if what you want to do fits in there, that's great. If what you want to do has a need out in the area, that's terrific. Then they will send you to school for that.
Right.
If there's no need for it, they're not going to send you to school for that.
One thing of note is that it has to be in the area, or at the very least in the state.
Yes.
Because that's one of the big things about vocational rehabilitation, is that they want you to work in their state.
And I think that one of the examples that they gave is that if you want to be a shipbuilder, but you live in the middle of the...
Don't live in Ohio, essentially.
So you've got to... It's got to make sense.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's something that feels to me kind of like a positive, and I know that you're apprehensive just because you are.
Yeah.
And I think that that's totally reasonable. And not reasonable. That's not the word I meant to use. It's completely
Expected.
Understandable and expected. Yes,
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I'm kind of excited for you that there's that potential of you doing what you've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so cool.
Mm.
All right. And I know that you said that you weren't feeling so good, so we're just going to talk about the Autism Specialist, and then we'll make it short today, okay?
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. All right. So, you're, like we said, you had never had an autism specialist, and I know that when I had been searching for somebody to help you with those things that trip you up,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like every time we've gone to somebody, there's been some very good and some amazing therapists and psychiatrists that you've seen. Wraparound services, so a BSc and a
TSS and a mobile therapist.
Yes.
Yeah.
And excellent people that have really helped you so much. And
Yeah.
at this point in your life, seems to be difficult things that keep coming up over and over. And so those things are like organization and self-regulation and task management and social skills.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, wasn't there somebody that focuses on those things, those life skills that can help you to get to where you are comfortable in
Right.
situations, comfortable with yourself, that you can not be hampered so much in so many settings, because at this point in your life you've kind of expressed that you wanted more.
Yeah.
That you want to work, you want to not live with us, there's all kinds of things that we've talked about.
Yeah.
And there just seem to have been blocks every time we try to find somebody that can really help with that.
Yeah.
We think we found somebody one time down in Pensacola, and that just didn't pan out. I think that they moved away.
Oh.
And they said that they were life skills coach, but then specializing in autism, and then they moved away.
Oh.
So anyway, just like with the TMS, the magnetic therapy for your depression, I didn't ask for that. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, until we went in to sign some paperwork for
right,
it.
you and I thought, we're going to see another psychiatrist. so, and when we got there, like, no, we don't, no. You just do this therapy for 9 weeks with this machine that's, and it's been proven to work, and there's no conversation, therapy based.
Right.
It's, the conversation is fun and light.
Yeah.
But,
and I think it's 6 weeks, not 9.
The whole thing lasts 9 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you've been, So anyway, there was that. We didn't know that was going to be what it is.
Right.
Grateful for that.
Yeah.
Grateful to find out that Voc Rehab has some extra gadgets that can help out.
Yeah.
And so then, thought I found a psychiatrist for you here. Then they said they couldn't see you.
Mm-hmm.
And then our insurance sent us to this place. And when I got the paperwork, it said Autism Specialist. And I was like, holy crap! Yay! Because I'm always asking for that. Every time I talk to the doctor, hey, do you know any autism specialists? All the time for years.
You make it sound like they're druggies or something like that. It's like, hey,
no,
got an autism specialist?
That was more like I would be the druggie. They're the drug dealers. Yeah. So anyway, we went yesterday, and some pretty amazing things happened. First of all, you checked out after about
20 minutes.
Yeah. And the meeting lasted almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's 2 hours and 50 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was pretty amazing because this doctor is an expert in medication when it comes to working with all the comorbid diagnoses that come with autism.
Yeah.
And the goal is, so while I'm excited about her being
She is the drug dealer.
She is Yeah, that's right. That's funny. Well, what she said yesterday is that that medication that you're on, while it's good medication, is kind of antiquated at this point, and there are many medications that since those came out that work better, but
with less
side effects.
Yeah.
But also, not only do they work better, but they would work better for you.
And longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So, what she's working on is and she said this to me too. It's interesting because she said that there's no medication for autism.
Yeah.
It's just there's nothing that is just going to say this is the pill that helps with autism.
Nope, not going to happen.
What's being addressed is your depression, OCD, and ADD.
It's the symptoms.
And ADD. Well, it's the
way that she said it. It addresses all of the symptoms.
Yes, exactly.
That these pose.
Right. Yeah. But there's not a pill.
Right.
That you take for autism.
Right.
There's medication that can be taken to help with
the symptoms.
The symptoms.
Yeah.
But it's important to know too is that you're autistic, you have your own symptoms, and your own diagnoses that go with autism, it
doesn't mean that it works for everybody.
Well, it doesn't mean that everybody has the same issues.
Right, that too.
Yeah, everybody is so different. But anyway, I like this doctor, the way that she saw you and talked to you and recognized your needs rather than just lump you in a group.
Yeah.
Without really understanding your specific needs.
Yeah.
So I like that. When I said that she was an autism specialist, I was so excited. I got so excited, like I said, so excited. And then we're there in this meeting, and and it occurred to me, and I go, "You're not an autism specialist?" And she goes, "No." And I went, "Oh."
You really did.
Yeah, I did. And she said, though, that she is part of a team, and there is a autism specialist that we're talking about on the team.
Mm-hmm.
She handles the medication, and the reason that you were directed to her first is because she feels like medication is a great place to start with you, because if you're taking medication, you're taking narcotics, if they're not helping you,
yeah, then change them or get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and find exactly what's going to work for you.
Yeah,
and is going to help you.
Yeah, and
one of the things that she did that you had done yesterday was gene testing. And what it...
GENE.
Yes. Basically, the test is intended to be used to assist in medication treatment, decision making.
Yeah.
That was all choppy. Did it make any sense?
It did.
It was like I was a robot.
Welcome to autism. No, but what it does is it searches out the DNA to find to figure out which medications would work better for you and which wouldn't.
Right.
Via your genetics.
Right. Metabolism.
And metabolism and things like that, yeah. Mm-hmm. So it...
For those that are interested, it addresses the metabolism or action of medications classified as psychotropic, and for, I'm not even going to try to say this, I'm just going to give you the acronym.
Where is it?
MTHFR.
Let me see it.
MTHFR. So,
it's... Okay.
Yeah, it's a big, long word that's... I don't really... Anyway, it is, is that...
That...
You're right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it... Essentially what happens is when this comes back, she said that it's going to be able to address your gene makeup. They're going to be able to tell what medication will work for you and what won't work for you, and it gives guidance. She, I guess, has been doing it enough where she didn't need that. Mm-hmm. She asked if we wanted to have it or not, and then we said yes.
Yeah.
Because why not?
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm really happy that we went and saw her.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that it's a new route to go.
Yeah.
It's a new understanding.
Not just for us, but any other doctors we may have.
Right. Well, that test is those are your genes. So anything that comes from this point forward, that can be used to see what is going to help you the most.
Right.
But what is exciting to me about it is that for me to watch you go day after day, seeming lost and seeming sad and seeming agitated or unclear, when I know that you are extremely capable of conversations. Maybe we can just, I don't know, there's so many things we could just pick it. You're capable of
anything I put my mind to.
Right.
And that's one thing you've always said, too.
Right.
You've always been very supportive of me, and have always said that I can do anything that I want in my life. That I can be anything I want to be.
Yes, that's absolutely true. And I think that what it looks like to me is that through the years you kind of got beat up a little bit, and disappointed, and discouraged, and
not physically beat up.
Right, you didn't get physically beat. You did not get physically beat up. But just, emotionally, you would try something and it wouldn't work, or you would, know, and the reason that I am feeling encouraged about this doctor, is because we've seen so many, and when we come across a doctor that really is the right person at the right time, it just clicks.
Yeah.
And it just feels like it's like finally.
Mm-hmm.
So the autism specialist is she's not the traditional my version in my head of an autism specialist, but she's exactly who you needed to see.
Yeah. And
once the medication is adjusted, the new medication is brought in. We go from there. Then you're going to be able to better make the changes that you've been wanting to make, and feel so stuck, and disappointed about. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the autism specialist is there in the same group that she's in. We're starting with the medication changes. So today, this was yesterday, it was already put in. We use Fort Eustis, base medical center at Fort Eustis, and they don't carry it.
Yeah.
So there is something else called something we've not used before, eScript. I believe it's called eScript, and I don't know what that means. I don't know if what the cost or how any of that works yet. We don't have that information.
Right.
Yeah. But how do you feel? How did you feel meeting her? How did you feel about that conversation? And did it feel? It felt different to me than other conversations. How did it feel to you?
I only paid attention for the first 20 minutes.
How did you feel for 20 minutes?
I mean, I appreciate what she's doing and everything. I couldn't pay attention.
Okay. She has a pill for that. I'm just joking with you.
You and your pills.
I know. But what's funny is that it's so funny. I like energy work, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't shove pills at you. I'm just like, typically, right? I'm like, try this,
holistic
pressure. Yeah. You have a headache? Use this pressure point between your thumb and your finger. Try that first, you know?
Yeah.
Use, some essential oils. Put some essential oils on. Like, we just did a podcast about that. I'm learning about that, so beware. I might be coming at you with more oils in the near future.
Yeah. And he puts lotion on the skin.
And
because that's not creepy.
I don't know what you did, but don't do it again. I don't know what that was from. Anyway, but yeah, so I'm like, crystals, how they work, and and healing energy and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
I rag on it.
Mm-hmm.
I rag on it all the time. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that I'm not for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I may not fully understand it,
mm-hmm.
but I know that it works.
Mm-hmm.
So I rag on it,
mm-hmm.
but and I poke fun at it all the time.
Yes.
But I don't mean to be mean about it.
Well, you're not mean about it, and I think I know where you're coming from. And look, our dogs get acupuncture.
That's because you're weird.
So I know that the things that I, place value on and move towards,
Mm-hmm.
I don't expect for you to be doing the same thing, to the degree that I do. But I know that you told me you don't want Reiki, So, I value your opinion. I don't push the stuff on you.
Right.
But I also don't just, I'm talking about this doctor with this medication.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I fought for years when they wanted to put you on medication when you were a little guy.
Yeah.
It wasn't an easy decision.
Right.
And yet we see the benefits for you until we figure at some point if something else gets figured out.
Right.
We have a podcast coming up with a wonderful lady named Norma that helped her autistic son with oils, with essential oils.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm. And is able to get off some medications.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, right. I'm excited about learning more about those. But for now, this is where we are. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm starting to fade a little bit, so
Okay, that's cool. Well, then we'll just wrap it up.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Yeah. Well, so anyway, I'm glad that we're here. I'm glad that we're doing the things we're doing. You're getting connected with some opportunities that you haven't had before.
Yeah.
And so I am excited about that.
Me too.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I love you. I want you to be happy and to feel good about yourself.
Thanks.
So.
I like you a bit. No, I do love you back.
Okay, good deal. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for listening to our ramblings today. I appreciate it. And if you like what we're doing, please give us 5 stars, because like I say to you every time, somehow out there that makes a difference. I don't know how, but I appreciate it. Please go to sonyaking.com, SONYAKING. Send us any messages that you'd like, any topic you'd like for us to talk about, and
even just feedback from if the podcast is helping.
That's right. Yep, we appreciate you very much. Anyways, everybody, I hope that you have a great day. Love ya.
Bye.